Hey everyone, thanks again for joining our show today. And I tell you, we got a lot of things to unpack and talk about. I'm here with Nate Murdakhayev, and he just flew in. I pick him up at the airport, and this is how this guy is, right? So I met him at GSDCon, okay, with Mike RC, and I'm out in the hallway with Mike RC. We're having a conversation, and this guy starts walking up. You can see him from the distance. And then Mike gets totally distracted. He's like, hey, man, you're here. So as soon as he shows up, Mike's excited to have him there. And he says, hey, I want to tell your story. I want people to learn about what you're doing. And just brings him up on stage. And then he tells his story on stage. And thanks for joining, man.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor. Let's do it.
So earlier I was like, let's just start recording. Because we're sitting here talking. I mean, our show could have been in the car on the way here, because we were going back and forth on so many topics. And I just want everybody to hear the same thing that you and I were talking about, which is, the gym industry, right? That's one of the 4 businesses that he has. And you started your gym. You bought a gym, right, in 2020.
2019.
2019, okay. It was like the end of the year. And then not long after COVID hit. I mean, everybody knows this story, right? As far as if you're in the gym industry, you may have been in the situation, but his situation was a little different because he was buying a failing club, and then COVID hit. It got even worse. The failing was more failure, and then he did something astonishing, which was drive this thing through the roof. And within 18 months, he's generating numbers that are unprecedented. So I'm going to just let him talk about that. So Tell the story like you told it to me when we were just, gabbing in the car on the way here.
Yeah, so basically, one of the things that I do is real estate with my family. We do a lot of commercial development, and one of our tenants was a fitness studio that was closing down. It was an I Love Kickboxing studio. He was on the verge of closing down. He was trying to find a buyer, so he can get something out of it. Now, I used to be, I don't know if I told you this, I used to be an instructor at another I Love Kickboxing. A while before then. Yeah. So I was very familiar with the business. And when I was there, first of all, I think that company, at the time when I was there, amazing. Like, I looked up to them like no tomorrow. There's a lot of things that when I was there as an instructor, I was like, hey, what would I do differently if I was the owner here?
That's the entrepreneur mindset.
Right. And every time I would try to give my ideas to the manager or assistant manager, they would just shut me down and say, Nate, shut up. Just do your job. Go teach classes. And, okay, cool. I had fun teaching classes, but, if I can't, it's not who I am. I'm always like, it's the entrepreneurial spirit. You just want to fix things. So I see a studio, and I see, first of all, he's not even breaking even. He's grossing like $10,000 gross. The rent we were charging him was $12,000. Then he had his wife working over there, instructors, payroll, the whole 9. And I'm like, I see exactly why he's failing. I'm talking to myself. I was like, he's just not doing boom, 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 boom. To me, it was like so easy. It was kindergarten.
Well, hold on, I'm back up for a second. So it's I Love Kickboxing.
It was I Love Kickboxing Fresh Meadows. That's the one that we took.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've got franchise support. So I want to say that because I've had in other shows franchisors that are on, and they do a phenomenal job. And nothing against I Love Kickboxing.
This has absolutely
model.
nothing to do with I Love Kickboxing. I think they are amazing. They taught me everything that I know. This is specifically about the studio owners, whether I Love Kickboxing or not, are, doing a successful job.
And I say that. The reason why I bring that up is because you can go out, if you know nothing about fitness and you want to get into a fitness franchise, or you just want to get into fitness franchising, I think is the way to go, because you have, you're a newbie in this, right? So you have to get some kind of roadmap laid out for you. And you've loved fitness. Doesn't matter what the franchise or gives you. It really boils down to how you operate your business. And I want to go into that because that's what happened, right? So you get into this business, you take it over.
Yeah, so we took it over. Well, I actually paid key money as well, for no reason, because a few months later was the COVID shutdown. So we took over a business that was in the red, losing money every month. The month that was the COVID shutdown was literally going to be our first month making $1. We were going to celebrate that. It was our first month not coming out of pocket. And then the COVID shutdown happens. Now, we're in Queens, New York. New York was like one of the worst places to be during the lockdown. And at that time, most people in this situation would be like, oh my God, it's not my fault. Life is against me. I'm going to just close down and take the L. Nothing I could do about it. But, from growing up in an entrepreneurial family, I learned that everything that happens negative to you in life is an opportunity to grow from it and to come out 10 times more successful than you would have if that didn't happen. What do I mean by that? Here's what happened to me. I met, if you guys know Mike Arce from Loud Rumor, one of my very close friends, one of my first coaches in business. I met him right before the COVID lockdown. We were at Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels event. Met him in the hallway. He wasn't one of the speakers or anything. We got really cool. He taught me a few things. And this was right before the COVID lockdown, right after I bought the business. And we were already talking about possibly working together. COVID shutdown happens. Mike hits me up. Hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I'm home doing nothing. He's like, wait, what do you mean? You're not running an online? Everybody was doing virtual and this, that. I was like, nah, not really. I'm just waiting for this thing to be over. And he made me feel like a shit leader, an entrepreneur. And he was right. And he's like, dude, let's take action. And it's funny. I actually got onto that whole Zoom online thing and we got shut down in the second day by the FBI because we were doing it in the studio, even though the instructor was alone in the studio and the doors were locked. Whatever. That story doesn't matter. But during that time of the lockdown, that's when I was really focusing, like learning. All right, I have time, right? I don't have payroll coming up tomorrow. I don't have newbies coming in or first day friends, whatever you want to call it, leads coming into the studio that I have to figure out how to close them. I don't have, managers calling me, asking me for help. I have free time right now. Okay, what can I do right now to make sure that when the lockdown is over, and we all know that shit lasted way longer than we thought, right? When the lockdown is over, how can I make sure that I'm ready? How can I make sure that when we open up, we're going to freaking, shoot up like a rocket? And the answer was, I'm very big on coaching. I have mentors in every industry that I'm in. I go to the people that I look up to and I say, hey, I want to learn from you, whether that means doing something for them in return, paying them, whatever it is, right? That's the biggest return I ever had on any investment I ever did. And during COVID, I was learning from Mike Arce, Loud Rumor. We learned acquisitions, retention, everything that there is that working as an instructor for a few months at I Love Kickboxing wouldn't have taught me, right? Or even being an owner by yourself for 10 years wouldn't have taught you, right? And I feel like I learned in a few months what the average person would take 10 years to learn of actually doing the business and failing and losing money, right? So that was the biggest thing. We were prepared. Whenever the doors opened back up, which in New York was terrible situation. We kept opening, closing. Even outdoor dining kept getting shut down. But we were prepared whenever that was. As soon as we opened up, let's say, for example, for the first few months, we weren't really doing so good because, people didn't want to wear masks. People didn't want to get vaccinated. We had the vaccine mandates, which that's another thing I don't want to get into. I don't want to
We could get into it, man.
I don't know. Is this going to get shut down on YouTube if we get into it? I don't mind, but whatever. We did a lot of things that we weren't supposed to do. We didn't mandate what we should have. I never will. I never have. I couldn't care less about it. Now, the problem that we had the first few months when we reopened was none of my freaking staff wanted to come to work because everybody was getting unemployment. Thank you, POTUS. Yeah, I'm taking some risks over here.
Hey, that's another story. Dude, we can go down the FBI route and why you got shut down in the first place.
I just don't want to do this for no reason if it's going to get shut down,
No. And then all the tickets that you just went ahead and paid.
Shit. Yeah. So I just paid every single ticket. I didn't mandate a thing. I even had it on my Indeed ads, like on the bottom. We will never and have never mandate a vaccine. I'm not anti-vax. I am anti-forcing someone to do something that they don't want to do, right? Whether you want to get it or not, that's up to you.
That's
I am
the
nobody.
opposite of what our country is supposed to be.
I am not a God. I am nobody. I don't have the right to tell you what to do to your body. That's my opinion. So when we reopened and I finally got some staff, literally, like in my CRM, you can see a chart of every month how we were going up. We started back up at, let's say, less than 10 grand of revenue. First few months went by, let's say we went up to like 15 grand, 3-4 months in. After that third or fourth month being open after COVID, we just freaking skyrocketed. We hit over 83K in less than a year, about a year post-COVID, right? If you don't count the time that I was closed during COVID as like me being in the business, because like we weren't doing anything, about a year we hit 83K, right? And it's not because I'm better than any other studio owners that are not hitting these numbers. It's just because during COVID I was learning, right? During COVID I was watching videos, on the platform that I was paying for, and all on a credit card. None of us had income.
So are you seeing a percentage growth month over month right now or year over year?
I do see a little bit of a growth. I'm going to be very honest with you. My studio is not growing as much as it was before because we are just at capacity.
You just hit a
we're ready for the next one, right? That's the thing about our industry. The only way you can grow after that, when you really maxed out the bucket, you can't keep putting more water in the same bucket. You just got to buy another bucket.
So I've got this, right? So we have, I've got a fitness software business, right? We talked about it a little bit on the way here. And I talk to a lot of gym owners, and a lot of gym owners that I talk to, they're not running ads. They're waiting for people to come in. They're relying on referral only. Referrals work. It's great to have a referral system in place. But I think you can only tap that so much before it kind of runs dry. Tell me what you did to grow quick, because you did it in 18 months. And now you're not in the club today, right?
No.
A lot of these club owners, that's their life. They're in there every day in and day out. They're spending 60 hours, a week or 80 hours a week in their clubs because that's what they wanted, right? And I think that a lot of trainers, because you came from the training side, they get this in their mind. A lot of people that are just passionate about fitness, they get it in their mind. I'm going to own a gym one day, and they do, but they don't think beyond that. Like, how do I go out and make this a business that I can live off of so I can, have enough income to enjoy time with my family and, help others? I mean, shit, that's the whole point.
Yeah, you need to ask yourself, do you want to be an owner-operator? Do you want to buy yourself a job? Which, if the answer is yes, there's no problem with that, right? But what do you want for your life? Yeah. Or do you want to be an entrepreneur? The way I see it, and the way all my mentors and coaches taught me in the past, if you're working in your business, you can't work on it. Mm-hmm. You got to pick one or the other, right? Going on what you said, honestly, when we reopened post-COVID and I was implementing everything new, I think within like 6 to 9 months, the studio was already running without me. And keep in mind, guys, I had no experience. Like, all I did was install systems and processes that all the successful studios are doing. I'm obsessed with, researching, learning from all the people that I look up to in that specific industry. Like I even did a whole year of coaching with Bedros from FitBody. So yeah. What was your question? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
No. I mean, you hit on it. I wanted to know how you grew. And part of the growth that you had was because of the coaching. The mindset first is what you're taking this entrepreneurial push and you're thriving in it because you're going, there's shit that I don't know. I'm going to go learn it from the best. And then I'm going to copy what others, or use at least their framework, what other franchise groups or what other big businesses are doing. And I think that's the miss for a lot of clubs that maybe are failing or are not hitting the mark.
Yeah.
They just don't put the system or the process in place. And they also don't follow a framework for themselves. Like you go to these coaches, Badros Koulian, Mike Arce, Russell Brunson. You're seeing somebody right now down in Miami, right? So, I mean, you've got all of these coaches, all of access to these top minds, right, in different industries or in different segments of their respective area that they coach in, and it's helping you grow. And I was just with a gym owner the other day, and he was like, I guess it's time for me to start, spending money on me to learn this stuff. And I'm like,
that's the first dollar you should have spent before you ran an ad, before you hired an employee. The first dollar you should spend in any industry. This has nothing to do with fitness. This has nothing to do with gyms. Whatever business you want to do, whatever you want to complete in your life, find someone who is doing it successfully, who is doing it the way that you wish you could do it one day. Go learn from them. And it's as easy as paying them, right? I want to go back to what you were talking about before, running ads. You guys have no idea how many studios I see, because sometimes I coach some studio owners and we go through their KPIs. On the KPIs, I see how many leads they're getting in, how many of those leads got booked. From the booked ones, how many of them actually showed. From the showed, how many closed, right? Leads, book, show, close. Let's say average studio organically 10, 15 max leads a month, right? Let's say, they're all showing up because it's not really through ads. It's like walk-ins or referrals, right? At that point, they're all showing up.
It better show up if it's a walk-in.
if it's organic, they're showing up. And there's a lot of studios that I see, they're closing. They're closing like almost 100%. I see it on their KPIs. And they're like, yeah, we don't know. We're stale on 20, 30,000 a month for the past 5 years. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because no one's, we're only getting a few people coming in, and it's like the same amount of people. Mm-hmm. They're net positive 0 because they're getting 10 sales, 15 sales a month, but they're losing 10, 15.
Yeah.
Right? Or freezes, cancellations, whatever it is. And it's as simple as, okay, so why don't you run ads? Right? You're closing them. What are you waiting for? Now, I also see studios that are spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month on Facebook ads. They're getting a shitload of leads, hundreds of leads a month, but their close rate is shit. At that point, I'm like, why are you running ads?
Yeah.
You didn't get there yet. Turn off the ads, right? When we shut down from COVID, that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I got to turn everything off. I got to turn off my marketing. I got to turn off my staff. I got to turn off my rent. Thank God, we own the building, but I got to turn everything off and I got to, fix my procedures. The biggest thing that differentiates a successful, not just studio, but business, and, you tell me if I'm wrong, the biggest differentiator of a successful business and a non-successful business is the systems and processes that they have in place, right? And according to what were they set, right? Mm-hmm. All goes down to coaching, honestly.
So here's the challenge, right? This is the rub that a lot of these owners have. Number one, to your point, they're running Facebook ads. Most of them, if they are running Facebook ads and they're not closing people or they're not getting the right leads, we talked about it earlier. Some of the, they're paying some agency, right, to go out and run ads for them, and they're getting $10 or $8 leads, per lead, which a lot of times that's really not where the mark is. So they don't get quality leads, and or the quality literally is bogus emails, bogus phone numbers, bogus names. So you can't even reach out to these people, and you're spending that kind of money. And so they get frustrated with that, and they go, this doesn't work, right? So then they just turn that, they're completely against it at that point. The other one is the gym owner who goes, I'm not making any money, right? I am net, I'm netting the same every single month because I got 10 coming in and 10 leaving. And then they're at a point where they're going, well, I don't have enough money to spend on ads. I can't spend on ads because I don't have the money to do it. I need capital, so I need to go get a loan, and I can't get a loan. So how do they do it?
All right, first of all, if you're closing 100%, 80%, even 50%, America has something called a credit card. If you guys have ever heard of it, you have 30 days to make a payment. There's even some that you can pay no interest for a whole year. If you are closing majority of your shows, put it on a credit card. By the time it's time to pay that bill, you already 10x that money and just recycle that, right? Because that is the biggest thing that people say, that are closing but have no leads. I don't have the money for it. It's like, come on, really? Like, that's just using your entrepreneur brain. And I wanted to touch on the first thing you said. What was the first one?
The gym owners who you talking about Facebook ads specifically, like
Yes.
the ones who are spending on ads, they're spending the 2 to 4K a month. Is that I see that group of people who are spending money, who are getting frustrated, right? You mentioned something different, right? You had mentioned that people who are spending 2 to 4K on those ads, and they got people coming in, but they're garbage at closing, right? They can't close the deals or they can't book the appointments, which we'll go into in a second. But I'm talking about maybe a third category, which is that category that has 2,000 to 4,000 in spend on ads, and they're hiring an agency to do it, or maybe they're doing it on their own and they don't know what they're doing, and they're so focused on the wrong metrics, right? And they're getting leads, but the leads that they're getting a lot of people that are fake emails, fake phone numbers, fake names.
That's what I wanted to touch on.
Yes.
Okay. I have a friend. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say the name of the company. He is in the same industry as us. He has a fitness studio. He has like 6, 7 locations in New York. Very close friend of mine. A few of them are franchised. It's his company, and we would talk all the time. We would help each other. And I would ask him like, "Hey, are you running ads?" And he's like, "No, I stopped doing that a long time ago." Because the conversation came up was because I was asking him what his acquisition was every month. How many members are you signing up a month? Right? And it was a very low number, so I'm trying to figure out why. He's like, "Oh, that doesn't work." I'm like, "What do you mean it doesn't work?" He's like, "Dude, we tried it so many times, they don't show up."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Who's calling them?" "Oh, the person in the front or whatever it is." Okay. Is there speed to lead? Are you calling them right away? What are you saying? How are you making sure that they show up? Nah, it's all bullshit. We tried it. Okay. It's not all bullshit. I have a separate team. They are not even in the studio. I used to have it in the studio. They are not in the studio. They are calling the leads, okay? A lot of studios, they make the mistake of not focusing on speed to lead, building rapport with the member.
What's speed to lead? Because I think people need to know what that number is, because there is a number to it.
When the lead comes in, if you don't call within the first 5 minutes, you very likely lost that lead, right? The biggest issue that studio owners say that they have with getting leads from marketing is that they don't pick up the phone. It's not that they don't pick up the phone. It's because you didn't call them right away, right? Imagine you're on your break at work and you're just chilling on Facebook, Instagram, right? You see the ad and you're like, "Oh, cool, kickboxing or CrossFit, whatever you guys are doing. Okay, yeah, free trial. Okay, let me sign up." Boom. 3 hours later, you get a call. And you're already like back at work, you can't even answer, and you don't even know who the hell that number is. And chances are they're not following up with you. You're not going to call it back.
Yeah.
Right? Even if they are following up with you, by the time they get back to you, it's going to be already maybe the next day. And they're going to be like, "What are you talking about? I never signed up for some CrossFit." People forget, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
People forget what they freaking clicked on. Speed to lead is very important. If you like click on one of my ads, put your name, email, phone number. We actually took out email. Put your name, phone number, submit. You will get a phone call within the first couple minutes. And when we call them, the lead literally says like, "Holy shit, that was fast," right? So that's speed to lead. That's very important. Number 2, what are you saying on the call, right? Are you an appointment setter? Are you just saying, "Hey, my name is Nate. I'm calling because I saw you just signed up on a trial. Yeah, I have tomorrow 5:30. Does that work? Oh, no? Okay, what about 9? Okay, I'll put you in. What's your phone number? Okay, thank you, bye. We'll see you." Like, Michael, you'll be surprised how many studios are still doing that. It blows my mind, right? In our studio, our phone calls are about 20 to 30 minutes long. Now, a lot of people might be saying, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, for 20, 30 minutes. There is only one way to get people to show up. They have to be invested, right? Because it's free. How do we get someone to invest into something that's free? The trial is free. That's how all studios do it, right? Unless you're doing like $5, $10, whatever it is, that's still free to me. There's only 2 ways that we've learned so far Okay. Number one, if you cannot get money from them, or if you don't want to get money from them because you get, more leads that way, get them mentally invested. So for example, let's say I call you, right? Rather than just going straight into the appointment, hey, Michael, what's up? It's Nate. How you doing? I'm calling from Hooked. And then, blah, blah, blah. Michael, what made you sign up for this? Have you ever done kickboxing before? I'm so excited. Now you're talking about...
I want to do something because I know...
You want to role play?
Oh, I want to role play, dude. Because I think this is gold, right? This is the shit that people aren't doing. They're not out there taking this material. Because I've worked with guys at gyms. And we role play and we role play and we role play. And I've had people at gyms tell me, hey, listen, I booked an appointment for you just so we don't have to role play, right? So it's not about just booking the appointment. It's about, to your point,
making them show up.
Yeah, getting them invested, because you can book appointments all day long and your show rate is garbage, right? The average show rate's 65% in the industry.
I don't think so.
No, you think it's lower than that?
I think
that's what URSA put out.
I don't know who that is.
URSA, International Health and Racket Sports Club Association, whatever it is. But that was in their report, right? But I agree with you. I think that a lot of these people report the numbers incorrectly, because how do they get that information, right?
Okay, it's like maybe 20%. We all know that, guys.
Right? So especially in the kickboxing world, right? So I want to role play because I think that there's some value in this. We don't have to go all 20 or 30 minutes because we're going to go over the show. But just the initial conversation, how does this thing start, right? How do they make that call within the first 5 minutes to make sure that somebody picks up the phone and they engage them in conversation? So boom, you got them kind of wanting to talk with you.
Ring, ring.
It's Michael.
Michael, how you doing? It's Nate from Hook Kickboxing.
Hey, Nate, what's going on?
Everything is amazing. Michael, I'm giving you a quick call because I just saw that you signed up for the free trial pass. You excited?
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't actually expect you to give me a call this quick. I was just kind of looking through some stuff.
Hey, we take it very seriously. We get very excited, and our job here is to make sure that people get to their goals. If I call you tomorrow, that means you're not going to get in here till, next week. We don't want that, so I'm going to call you right away. Michael, tell me a little bit about your goals. What are you looking to achieve?
Yeah, well, I just kind of want to lose a little bit of weight and, probably get more tone.
Yeah, I mean, most of our members are here for that reason, but let's deep dive a little bit, right? You said you want to lose weight. How much do you want to lose?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to say that.
We don't really get that.
You don't get that? What do you guys
get? Keep going. No.
15 pounds. 15 pounds. I'll make it easier for you.
Okay. So you want to lose 15 pounds, and you said you want to tone up a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And are you working out right now?
Not really. I mean, I've got some stuff in my basement. Well, here in Florida, you don't have any basements, but in New York, you got some basements. I got some stuff in my basement. I throw some clothes on it every once in a while. I take it back off, and then I get back on the treadmill. Yeah,
so you said you want to lose 15 pounds. Where'd you get that number? Is that something that, did you used to look a certain way before?
Good. So this is what I wanted to do, right? I want people to know that you guys got to, pay attention to what Nate's doing here. He's trying to have a conversation with me that actually has some value that's going to hit maybe a pain point that I have. The pain point that I could potentially have is the fact that the reason why I want to lose 15 pounds is because maybe that was the vision that I had, 5 years ago or 2 years ago, or wherever my best person physically was. So he's going to keep diving into that until he has enough of a conversation where he's opened me up. He's peeling back those layers, and it's not just booking an appointment.
Yeah,
so,
I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to go back on one thing earlier when you were like, I don't really feel comfortable to say.
I know you could handle it. That has nothing to do with it. But I know that if I didn't throw it in there, somebody would say, yeah, he just, fed him, the info that he needed to hear.
All right. So for the record, let's just do it.
Yeah. All right.
Go for it.
So, version 2. So, I don't know if I really want to tell you how much weight I want to lose.
Hey, Michael, I completely understand. Do you mind if I just be a little honest with you?
Yeah.
The reason why you clicked on this is because you're looking for a coach, right? If not, you could have went into any gym. You could have went to 24-Hour Fitness or whatever, Retro, for $20 a month, and you could have just went in there and done your own thing. But the reason why you clicked on this and the reason why you're interested in coming in is because you're looking for guidance. You want to make sure that you hit that goal. Here at Hooked, or whatever your studio name is, what we do is we make sure every single person that comes in here hits their goal. we are not the type of gym that just hopes that you make your payments every month and hope that you don't come and actually scan in. That is not who we are. Because if you don't show up, we're going to call you. We're going to make sure you come in, right? So you came here looking for a coach. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. With that said, if you don't mind, do you mind if I be a coach to you for a second?
Sure.
Okay. Michael, if you don't mind me asking, what's the reason, how much weight do you want to lose?
Yeah, I mean, you put it that way. I mean, really, I want to lose 15 pounds.
15 pounds. Okay, great.
Yeah, see, I love it, dude. This is exactly what needs to be going on in your studios or your clubs if you've got them. And if you need some coaching, I wanted to go down that for two reasons. One, because I think everyone needs to kind of hear the difference between booking an appointment just to get somebody on the books and having a genuine conversation, because you got in this industry for a reason. You're doing fitness for a reason. Why don't you actually help people out? Mm-hmm. Right? Have a real conversation with them. That's what Nate has trained his team to do, is to have real conversation, real dialogue. And you don't have to go off of a script. Sure, maybe you got to use a script, right?
You know what's my biggest pet peeve?
Scripts.
When you're doing, so you're supposed to do a fitness assessment, right? That's what we're doing right now. And that's what we're going to do when the person comes in more in depth. That's how we get the sale. We got to do a fitness assessment. My biggest pet peeve, and if you guys are doing this, I beg you to stop. They're coming up to the person with a clipboard, like they're in a doctor's office.
Yeah.
Okay, your name, Jessica, So, Jessica.
Question one.
Question one. How much weight do you want to lose? 15 pounds. Okay. Guys, it's supposed to be a conversation. It's supposed to be genuine. Put the clipboard away. The clipboard or the fitness assessment that you have on paper is good for training. Okay? So you can, use it as guidance. Reference. Yes. Right? But after a certain amount of time, if you're still bringing the clipboard, like, in my opinion, only amateurs do that. Now, if you are the type of studio that does like crazy in-depth stuff with like, DEXA scan and, in-body scans or whatever it is, and you want to write everything down and you want to show them that you're tracking it,
you're a partial
that's a different
clinic.
story.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a different story. Go for it. In my opinion, and I might be wrong, in my opinion, I think it's kills the whole point of what we're trying to accomplish. You need to build, and I learned this from Bedros, know, like, and trust factor. They have to know you, they have to like you, they have to trust you. That's how you get the sale. They will not know, like, and trust you if you're just writing everything on a clipboard. They will know, like, and trust you if you're talking to them like this, if, you're relating to them like, hey, when I started here, I also came here to lose 15 pounds. Believe it or not, I hit that goal in like a month. Right? That's how you build it. Oh, shit, really? Me too. Not the clipboard. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I love that, man, because the reality is that, first of all, this is gold. And I hope you guys are, if you missed a part of this, rewind it, re-listen to it.
I tend to talk fast. I apologize.
Because you and I are aligned on a lot of levels here on the way that I think the sale needs to happen. And I hate saying sale because to me it's about influencing people to make the best damn decision. And that's what they need to be doing.
Let's say the close.
The close. Okay. So, there's a process to it, and that process is actually pretty natural. You just have to believe in your gut what you're actually trying to do and actually go help people. It's that simple. It really is that simple.
Which is why I hate the clipboard.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Because every single person has a different story. They have a different why. You and this person and that person are not all here for the same reason, right? Even if you all want to lose weight, it's still not the same reason, because you want to lose 10 pounds. That lady over there wants to lose 80 pounds because she's on A, B, and C medication.
Right.
And, diabetes, this, that. It's a whole different story, right? This person, the reason why they haven't been able to lose that 15 pounds is because they don't know what to do. For example, random example, that person knows what to do, but like they're embarrassed to walk into the gym and, they need coaching on, or maybe they just need accountability. Maybe they need a diet plan. Mm-hmm. Maybe they need somebody to check on them, right? Which is what fitness studios are all about. Gyms are just acquisition. Fitness studios is all about retention. You're not going to grow if you don't retain. You got to check on them. Sidetrack. But every single person is here for a different reason. In the fitness assessment, whether you are doing it on the phone to get them to show up for the trial and schedule them, or you are doing it before the sale, you need to do 2 fitness assessments, both of those. Okay. I got sidetracked.
One's a verbal fitness assessment, one's an in-person.
Yes. What was I going to say? What was the last thing I said? I'm sorry.
You're talking about how you're getting people in the door, how you're going to get them to the close.
I lost my point.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Because what I wanted to say was, you've had, I want to say this because you elevated from what you learned. You took that and then you applied things, and then you started to learn along your own road, right? And even though you're involved in some of those other programs still on some minor level, you've started to build your own business, and now you have 35 people waiting for you to,
it's a whole other business.
It's a whole other business, right? So you have 35 other gym owners who are waiting for you to do the booking for them, do the fitness assessment. I shouldn't say booking, the fitness assessment for them over the phone to get those leads into the door and make sure that they actually show up. And that's something that's, I think, relatively unique in the way that you're doing it, because there are agencies out there, they'll go ahead and run your ads, right? They'll take that ownership.
Yeah, it's the easy part.
Yeah, it is the easy part.
Give me your $1,000 a month. I'll do it for you.
And then after they get the ads running, right, there's some complexities to it. Make sure that everything looks and is done right and you're testing it. But
no, I'm kidding.
To that point, they come in, they run those ads, and then they leave it up to you, and they hope that you can actually call within the first 5 minutes. But you've taken that to another level, which is you have people actually doing this. You're hiring and training and coaching people the same way that you would do it to get them in the door, and you got clubs doing it. So if you have interest, I don't know if you're ready for this. Maybe it's too early, but Nate has the ability to actually do that for you, right? He'll come in and he'll make sure that you get those leads in the door they booked and they're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm going to be very honest. We are very selective with what studios we take on. We're not cheap. I'm going to tell you right off the bat. But we are very effective. Right now, we have a waiting list of about 36 studios, just on the waiting list, not including who we're working with right now. We are not taking on new clients right now, but I can add you to the list. I don't know if you don't mind. I'll just tell them my Instagram.
Yeah, please.
Just reach out, Nate_MURDAKHAYEV on Instagram, and just DM me and I'll add you on and I'll let you know where we're at with that. But we're very focused on having the right lead handlers. That's where I think a lot of these companies go wrong, because I actually tried like 1 or 2 of these companies and they were complete shit. One of them called me and said, hey, with some crazy accent that I had to say, what'd you say, like 5 times. And all he was trying to say is, hey, I heard you, I saw that you signed up. Can I get you scheduled?
Hi, is this test Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I didn't even put a test. I don't know how he got my number. But whatever it is, I'm like, dude, is this how you're calling my leads? Like,
he's like, oh shit, this is the
they're
guy.
going straight for the booking. They're not talking to me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, what the hell? Like, what makes you think I'm going to show up? Right? Earlier, I was telling you there's 2 ways to make them invested. Number 1 is this way, mentally invested, talk to them. The second way, if it's not getting money up front, it's getting a card on file for a no-show fee. I was, like, against this before I got coaching. Shout out again to Mike Arce. If you say it the right way, you will get a card on file even for a free trial class. And if you did the rest of everything correctly, meaning you did the fitness assessment, you guys just became besties for the past 20 minutes on the phone, they'll give you their credit card, right? So we collect a credit card on file for every single lead that we book. And there's a $50 no-show fee if they don't show up.
Yeah. And I want to say, too, that you mentioned that it's not cheap. And, there's value in the price tag that you have. I mean, there's work that's involved. I mean, 20 to 30 minutes to pay someone who's skilled, who's got training, who knows what to do in order to get someone to show. And you're only charging for those who actually show up, right?
Yeah, we only charge per show. I don't want to get into it too much.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but hit me up. I'll help you out. It's just I don't want this to seem like I'm trying to sell anything, because like I'm really not. But if you're looking for help, hit me up. I'll help you out. We charge per show. And the reason why the reason why it's not cheap and the reason why we're not taking more clients right now is because we're all about quality. If you give me 100 leads and I get a high show rate with those 100 leads versus if you give me 1,000 leads and I get a low show rate, like you just spent more money because you had to give me more leads, even though the amount showed up. So that's what it is. We're all about not making you spend too much money. We're all about give us people in your 5-mile radius that want to click on the ad. Make sure the video is not shit, which again, most studios have shit ads. I'm sorry. Guys, look at your ads. Ask yourself if you would click on it. And just give us those leads and we'll have our handlers call them and you know, take care of them for you.
Yeah, just tight. I mean, to your point, I mean, you just made me think of something. I'm thinking like, you go from a process of clicking on an ad, which sometimes those ads look like garbage in the first place. And then someone sees the ad and then they go to your website and then your website is even worse.
Yeah.
Right. So tighten up your process, your process and system includes everything digitally to the time that they walk in the door and meet with someone, to the time that they actually buy something, and then how you handle them when they're there. So it's not the process that Nate had to create when he had that time off and he's going through. He already had a process before that. So I think also that there's some tribute to that needs to be known, because I think that's also a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people just miss, right? They just blast an ad, see what sticks, right? Somebody comes in and then the quality of that ad doesn't pay its respect to the quality of your gym or the quality of the process post the ad, right? So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to go over
before you go there, just real quick, does it capture attention or is it just some boring, something boring that you wouldn't click on yourself? That's number one. Number two, I just want to go over this real quick. What about your social media profile for your studio? Where are these ads being ran from? They're being ran, if you're doing it correctly, unless your agency is doing it under their page, which you should not be doing it that way. These ads are being ran through your Instagram account or Facebook account, even if you're using an agency, right? A lot of people, they see the ad, and rather than clicking on the ad, because we're in the fitness industry, it's all about dealing with procrastinators all day, right? Let's be honest. 90% of people are procrastinating their fitness, right? So what these procrastinators, I call them followers. They follow you on Instagram, right? We get 10, 15, sometimes 30 new followers a day because they're not clicking on the ad, but they're clicking on our Instagram, right? Now, when they click on our Instagram is fire. Our videos are sick. When I say sick, I mean compared to like 99% of studios. Like, I think it's whatever, but compared to everybody else, it's really good. Like, we didn't go cheap on the edits, I'm not saying that you have to run ads that are edited because, yes, a lot of my ads were just like, raw footage that outperformed, iPhone stuff that outperformed all the edited stuff. But on your page, the posts should be high quality stuff. And then they're going to follow you. Or because it was high quality, they go back from the ad and they, So don't throw your ad spend in the garbage, right? For every $1,000 that you spend on ad spend, I probably get way more leads than the other person. Because if they're not, it's either they're clicking on the ad, signing up, or they're following, and then my team will DM them.
Well, the process is tight all the way through. That's why, right? I mean, there's consistency in what you're creating. Your ads and your brand image, everything, it flows.
Yeah, very simple way to know if you're doing it correctly. If you're if you're spending thousands of dollars a month on ads and you're not getting any new followers, forget about how many leads are coming in. If you're not getting any followers, then your Instagram sucks.
Jump into something completely different because you bought this club, and we were talking on the way here about processing fees, and I didn't realize you had this experience.
Yeah,
but I think another big piece. I just read something from Bedros. Because he was talking about that you can do in order to improve your business margins is going back and kind of doing an audit on your whole process, everything that's within your business. And one of those things, I think, is the processing fees. And a lot of gyms don't recognize this, but they're getting dinged on a higher percentage rate than they really recognize. And you even told me you didn't realize where this money was coming from or who was charging you for these chargebacks or returns and all this other stuff. That's a whole nother segment we can do. But you went out and did the research, and you recognized something that was pretty profound for you because you were like, man, I can save some money. I want to talk about that. So
yes, so I figured it out by accident. I get a call from my accountant. He's like, hey, I'm doing your, P&Ls, and I'm classifying expenses. And there's this one company, they charged you a total of like, I don't know, 20 grand in this previous year that ended. It wasn't recently, it was like a few years ago. They charged you like 20 or 25 grand in total last year. What is this company? I'm like, I don't know. And he says the name of it. I'm like, I don't know. Now, keep in mind, all of you guys have this company. A lot of you just don't know it. Not like this specific company, but like you have a company taking that money from you. So then I realized like, oh, wait, that's like my CRM. Mm-hmm. They're taking a percentage.
CRM is customer relationship management, which also, if you're not using a CRM, use a CRM. My God. Okay, go. Sorry, I had to cut that off because I know that there's a lot of them out there not using CRMs.
Yeah, how are you going to grow if you're like, so I thought it was like my program, my membership system. And I'm like, why are they taking so much? Then I started to learn that, the way credit card processing works is like, you buy something in a store for $100, the business owner loses $3-4 from that. That goes to the credit card company, whether you're using Amex, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, whatever it is. So I started to learn this, and I see that I am like losing a lot of money. Now, I didn't pick this company. This was the company that was recommended to the previous owner that I took the gym from. I didn't even know that there was a processing company. I thought it was like the software doing it.
Whatever software you're
right.
using is. Yeah.
I came to learn recently that most people think that.
Yeah, that's a common thing. I run into that a lot.
Right. So in any business, when you use a credit card, the credit card company takes a percentage. That's how they make their money, right? A lot of people want to use their credit card because, yes, you're using the bank's money, but you're also getting points. You can go on vacation, you can travel, all these things, right? Who's paying for that? A lot of people think that like, oh, Amex, somehow they figure it out. The rich company.
Yeah, they partnered up with JetBlue.
Yeah, no, they're taking it from,
Airlines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're taking it from the business owner. They're taking it from the guy who just made your sandwich. They're taking it from the gym that you go to. They're taking it from all these places. Most people are losing, 3 to 4%, sometimes even 5, 6. I spoke to someone yesterday that was paying 8% processing fees. I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind? Like, he doesn't even know, right? A lot of you guys are losing 3 to 4%, if not more. Now, I'm not saying it's free because we still,
you have to pay something.
They got to pay the credit card companies, but the processing companies are making a huge margin and they're not doing anything for you. How did I get into this, or how did I learn about this? I had a problem. Every morning, as all business owners, entrepreneurs do, we wake up in the morning. What's the first thing we look at?
You know what? We look at our emails and everything's just awesome.
Yes.
Right? There's no problems. There's no fires, nothing. Everything's just running smooth.
You look at text messages, emails, maybe Instagram. But there's another thing we look at. We open our bank app.
Yep.
Right? I do every morning. I want to see how much came in.
Yeah.
Right? If you're in the, residual/recurring revenue business, which all gym owners are in, you want to see how much came in today. Right? Now, I was getting 2 to 3 chargebacks a day. So every day I see my deposits coming in and I see minus in red, like hundreds of dollars coming out, sometimes over $1,000 coming out. Our average membership is over $200 a month. Like, imagine losing 3 a day on chargebacks. I'm losing, $600 a day, if not more, on chargebacks. Now, gym industry, and I learned this now because I'm in credit card processing, the gym industry or the fitness industry is one of the industries that have the most amount of chargebacks compared to any industry. Why? Because people have an option. They either do a contract membership, month to month, no contract. Most people pick a contract membership because it's cheaper. And then 6 months, 7 months, 8 months into their 1-year contract, they want to cancel early. They don't call the gym because they know that they're in a contract.
Yeah, they call their credit card.
They feel embarrassed to call.
I've heard this from people, man. I've heard people tell me that I'll just call my credit card company, cancel the card.
They tell you to your face. Yeah. When you try to tell them, like, hey, we can cancel you, but you're on a contract, which means that we gave you a discounted rate.
Yeah.
Because you promised us you're going to stay for a certain amount of time. oh no, screw you. I'm going to put a bad Google review. I'm going to, call my credit card company, blah, 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 blah. You know what I say now? No problem, call them.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that. You might get a bad review, but we basically.
But you got the problem figured out. And this is the thing.
So it is very easy to win your money back in this industry if somebody does a chargeback, as long as you have the agreement that you made them sign. In my case, I was losing all of them every day because they were piling up so much that I didn't have the time or the staff to do it, right? I was even looking for a part-time assistant, separate assistant, outside of my regular assistant to do just this, right? When you submit it, they have 2-3 weeks to respond, usually 2 weeks, depending on the credit card company. They have 2 weeks to respond. You got to go, follow up with them again. Hey, did they respond back? If they responded back, now you got to respond back, all that stuff, right? I called my credit card processing company. I was like, hey, I'm having this issue. I'm trying to figure out how to solve it. How do I stop losing this money? Do you guys have a service, I'm willing to pay for it, that you guys can handle these disputes for me, right? And they laughed at me. They're like, no, we don't do that, right? I'm like, so what do you do? What am I paying you for? I was actually asking, I'm curious.
Where are you getting this money from?
Yeah, you're probably making a whole 1.5% on the spread of what you're paying the credit card companies and, charging me. So I'm trying to understand, what are they making this money for? Then I found another processor. Today, he's my partner. I found another processor, and he looked at my statements. He's like, look, you're paying X amount processing fees. This is the cost of what it would have costed me to do your processing. And by the way, cost price is the same for everyone. Chase and me and everybody, we pay the Amex and Visa the same that everybody else does, right? This is the cost. This is how much you're paying. This is the spread that they're making, okay? And he's like, I can lower this by X amount. The second problem, you have all these chargebacks and disputes. Again, in our industry, it's so easy to win back. He's like, dude, this is a piece of cake. Do you have documentations? I was like, yeah, I have contracts for everyone. And they're even uploaded. In our CRMs, this is why you need a CRM. Yeah. Right? Michael Benso, he got you covered. You just type in the name of the person, open their profile on their files in the bottom. That's how I have it in mind. You click and their file opens. Boom. That file gets you your freaking $200 back. Just email it to them, right? And a little back and forth. But basically, he was like, look, you're processing a lot. We were doing well. You're processing a lot. I really want your business. I'm going to lower you to this much. This is exactly how much I'm making on you. He was even open with me. He's like, but I'm also going to have my assistant, my secretary, handle all your chargebacks for you. Every single day when she comes to work, she's going to look at your chargebacks for the day. The money still comes out of my account, but I get it right back. Not right away, but after a couple of weeks comes back. Yeah. Which I don't care as long as I didn't lose the money, right? I was losing $600 a day. Now I'm not losing anything. And if someone wants to call the credit card company in the studio, we can just say yeah, okay, you don't have to tell them, don't worry, you don't have to tell them you're going to get back, but yeah.
So I want to go on this for a second because
how'd I get into the business?
Well, not that. Or why? I want to tell a story about what happened to me and how you got it figured out, because I was running through this same thing, right? When I first started, I started with a company called authorized.net through their gateway, and then they just paired me up with Chase because my business was with Chase. So Chase Payment Tech, of course, right? They come in and they're like, oh, we'll be your processor because we're your bank. And me not knowing at the time that they were going to take another fee, right? They love me being in business because they're making more money off of me after they already gave me a loan.
I love when I meet people who are using Chase.
Oh, man. So
I steal their clients in 1 second. They're getting overcharged.
So I'm going through this process with Chase Payment Tech and authorized.net. And so you guys know, there's your business software platform, whether that's a CRM or your gym management solution that you're using, and then that's connected to a gateway, and then that gateway just houses all of the credit cards securely. So when you type in a card or you swipe a card, that's where it goes and it stays there. It's called PCIM compliance. And then the next road is a processor. Square is not only the gateway, but they're their own processor. So they'll do the chargebacks and returns for you, and they usually lose. And I know this because I've tested Square, and I'm currently using it for a separate business, and they suck at it. It doesn't matter what agreements I load. It doesn't matter.
Because they're such a big company that they cannot have a relationship with you.
Exactly. So all I get to do is press a couple buttons on their site. Then there's Stripe. They do the same thing. They're their own gateway and their own processes. Then you got authorized.net. And there's a couple other gateways like Global Pay, I think, or World Pay. And you can use their gateway and then choose whatever processor you want to use. Our software allows our customers to do that, where they can choose authorized.net and then choose their processor. Now, I remember I was in the same boat you were in. I had Maggie, who was working with me. She started off as my assistant, and she turned into like this gnarly, I'm angry at going to go after all these people who are doing chargebacks. We had about 5% of our revenue was chargebacks and returns, because people would just do exactly what you said, right? They'd sign up for the cheap deal and then say, oh, I never actually did that. And we had evidence. We had an ironclad agreement that I spent good money on from a good attorney, an A-rated attorney, to write this damn thing. And then we'd go give it to Chase Payment Tech, and Chase Payment Tech, sometimes they would deny it. Sometimes they'd allow it to go through and we get our money back. But you've got a different system.
You're
and it's
going
working.
to court without a lawyer.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it's a
Oh,
freaking
and
mess.
I'm sorry. The judge is not fair.
Oh,
no.
no.
The judge in this case is on the cardholder side. You're going to court to the cardholder, to the cardholder's company. Their job is to make the cardholder, which is the customer, happy. Their job is to try to find every way possible to make sure that you don't make it clear proof, like obvious, that you deserve this money back. That's who you're fighting against. It's completely biased. And you guys have to understand why. It's their credit card. They're paying annual fee or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is to use that card. They want to keep them as a customer. Yeah, so I'd lose all the time. And I was happy to hear that someone finally figured it out and has a processing group, or at least you finally got into this business and you got control over that. So that's...
Yeah, so the way I got into it is because I was using it for myself. And then I started to just like genuinely introducing it, to my friends who are in this industry, just referring it because I'm a customer. I don't refer anything that I'm not a customer of. Which is why I referred so many people to, a lot of the coaches that I went to too. Basically, a lot of gyms, a lot of studios, not even just gyms, other businesses too started working with him. And they're all like, dude, like, what the hell? Like, where was this before? And they're paying less for processing too. Win-win. So basically, that guy, my processor, he came out to me. He was like, do you want to work together? And he explained to me how it works. And I was like, look, I can help a lot of people. I'm the type of person that I don't really get an enjoyment of making money in a business where I'm not also helping the person. It's the reason why I got into the fitness industry while I was doing real estate. Real estate, I grew up in a real estate development family. Yes, it's amazing, pays the bills, makes a shitload of money if you're doing it right. To me, I don't feel like I'm helping people when I do it. I don't get an enjoyment out of it. I still do it to pay the bills. This, I get an enjoyment out of, the fitness studio. Payment processing, love it. Help everybody. I get to learn about your business because in order for me to help you, I have to ask you a lot of questions. What's the process for this? What's the process for that? It's the same like doing a fitness assessment, right?
No, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not even me trying to close you. I actually need to know the answers to these questions so I know how to help you. So basically, I was just referring a lot of people. He was like, dude, let's work together. And we started our own company. It's called Prime Pay. We have a lot of fitness studio owners specifically that we're helping with. We have a lot of other, businesses that we're helping. But for the gyms that we're working with, they're not losing their money to chargebacks anymore. Because another thing we'll do is to make sure that we don't lose the case. Because, again, you're going against a judge that hates you with no lawyer. We are your lawyer,
Even if
basically.
you have a good agreement, because I was a victim of that one.
So we will look into it. That's one of the questions we ask you. What's in your agreement? Can we change this? Can we change that? Because this agreement is what's going to win your money back, and we'll do all that for you. Like I don't even check anymore. It's not because I own the company now, but even for my own studio, like I don't check to see if I'm winning them back. I know I'm winning them back. Maybe once in a while we'll lose like one. Because, they I had a great example. Customer said, "Oh, it was fraud. I've never been there before. I don't know what they're talking about."
Yeah.
Usually they don't say fraud. They say like, "I canceled. They're still charging me," whatever it is, right? Which those we win all the time. The fraud one we lost one time, and I asked my partner. I was like, "Hey, how can I make sure that I don't lose this anymore? Because if she can get away with the fraud, everybody can say that, right?" So, we're like, "Hey, can you get an ID uploaded for every single person?" Yes. Okay, guys, gym owners, business, any recurring revenue business model, get an ID for their profile. A lot of gyms are taking pictures of their face. You don't need that. On their profile picture of whatever CRM you're using, put their ID, because now you have two defenses for chargebacks. You have the actual contract. If they say like, "Oh, I never signed the contract," or I told them to cancel, you'll win that back easy.
Is this your photo ID, sir? When they're presenting this, the credit card company.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that is my ID.
So, and the second thing is you will win against people who say fraud, because you have their ID now.
Yeah, now they're being fraudulent. They're lying.
Yeah, I mean they're probably even going to get in trouble from the credit card company. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Money. They're just grabbing for the money. Then you probably haven't felt the pain of someone using your facility, using personal training, taking classes, you paying your instructors, you paying your coaches, you paying your staff, and then someone coming in and saying they never.
My coach Eric Spofford real quick. He was like, somebody signed up for my coaching program. They came to my boat. They ate my food that my private chef cooked for them. They sat down with me, asked me a billion questions. They came to my house. It was all part of the coaching. And then they went and disputed.
Oh, man.
Comes to my own house, he says. I was like, yo, that's like, how do people even have the face to do that? So if they'll do that, if someone will do that to someone like him, who's mentoring them, came to their house,
that's sick, man.
Then you think they give a shit about you in your studio,
Yeah.
Now, again, guys, you're not really going to have this problem if you have, a small facility. We, at our prime, were, getting 80 to 100 new members a month in one studio. So, when you have hundreds of new signups, almost 100 every month consistently, you're going to get at least 2-3 a day that are going to do this. It's not even about you providing a bad service.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that, and I'm glad you reiterated that, because it's not about the money. It's really just about the right thing to do. And there's people out there that are doing it the wrong way. So enough about that. I want to talk about your day, because not everybody, maybe this works for some people, maybe it doesn't, but I think there's an opportunity for people just to have an understanding on how you elevate to the next level, right? Because there's a structure for yourself, I'm sure, in some way, so you get stuff done, so you can make it to the next level.
So I'm going to be very honest. I am not one weakness that I have as a person and that I'm working on is having structured days, which is why I have assistants, thank God. Now, me personally, the reason why, I'm running around back and forth is because I have this, maybe you can tell now, the reason why I talk very fast is because I'm really into what I'm doing. I can't stick to one thing because I get bored. Mm-hmm. I have to do at least 2-3 things at a time. Now, when you're doing that, structuring your day is like almost an impossible task, right? My whole thing, wake up. As soon as I wake up, I do not do anything until I pray. I believe that no matter what religion you are, if I don't know if you saw.
I do it every night, and when I wake up, I meditate.
Yeah,
same thing.
So Patrick Bet-David, he was asked in an interview recently. Did you see the one where he cried in the interview?
No.
Yeah, Patrick Bet-David was asked by I forgot the guy's name. He's also huge. He was asked, "How would you feel?" Don't quote me on it, but how would you feel if you lost the favor of all? If you lost the favor of all except one? And the guy meant, how would you feel if everybody in the world went against you except God, and God was on your side? And he was like, dude, I couldn't care less. Yeah. And he just started breaking down crying. I'm sure most of you saw that clip. It went viral everywhere. I'm kind of mad at myself right now that I forgot, the person's name. That's my thing. I believe that there's no blessing in anything I do for the day until I pray. So that's my first thing. After I pray, I go to the office. I have a separate office. Go to the office, get a few things done, whatever I have to do. I like to go to the gym in the middle of the day. Thank God, it's because I established a lot of systems and processes in my business. I'm able to do that. But the gym for me is not just about, physique. It's also, that's where I get my best ideas. That's where I think. I'm in my headphones by myself. I don't talk to anybody. Sometimes I realize
it's
in the
not
mirror,
as busy in the afternoon.
Yeah, there's nobody there. Like whatever will take you 2 hours to do, I'll get done in 45 minutes, Go to the gym, go back to work. And then sometimes because I do enjoy it, I don't need to do it, but I do go to the studio sometimes. Our evening classes are the most packed. So, look, we're entrepreneurs. We don't clock out.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury.
No, we don't have an off switch, man.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, you don't understand. I came here right now from Miami. I did something over there for work. I just got here from Miami to do this with you. And again, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man.
And I I got like 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
I got to run back on a flight because tomorrow I'm onboarding a new employee. I'm in the process of onboarding a new manager for one of my businesses as well. Like, I already see in my mind the next 2-3 weeks in front of me. That's really what it is.
So as you can see, there's no full structure.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. Good. I love it, man. So we could keep going. I think there's going to be another part 2 of this because there's other conversations that I think we can align with. But hey, man, I really appreciate you jumping on. Where can everybody find you? How can they get your information?
My Instagram, Nate, NATE _Murdakhayev, MURDAKHAYEV. Always on Instagram. If you guys DM me, always happy to help.
Awesome. Hey, everyone, thanks for listening in. You know where to find us, obviously, because you're either watching this or listening to it. Always make sure you like and share it, especially if you found some stuff in here that was interesting or that maybe somebody else could utilize. Outside of that, see you guys on the flip side.